going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Titans Time Podcast. I'm your host, Tanner Staggs. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Tyler Staggs. We're back for the second episode of this new season of the show, and the Julio rumors, they're still going on. So if you had enough of the Julio talk last week, I'm sorry, but we are going to have to hit on that again. Tyler, how's it going?
Going good, and like you said, we can't help it. We're going to have to hit on the Julio topic and rumors again because he still hasn't been traded.
Well, the whole deal is just dragging out, and as expected, at least for me anyways, it's just going to take a while.
It will, but before we really start diving into the show, guys, we got a couple things to ask of you. Make sure if you're listening on all the podcast platforms, you go and subscribe, rate us 5 stars, leave us some comments and some questions. We really appreciate all the feedback on there. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. We're trying to hit anywhere from 800 to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year.
So oddly specific.
Well, hey, gotta throw...
Like, I can just imagine you coming up with that little estimate, just laying down in bed one night and you're like, I want to have 852 subscribers before the end of the year.
All I remember saying is, I said to you, what would you like our goal to be for this year? Does 800 to 1,000 sound good? Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, it sounds good. Oddly specific, but okay.
Look, you didn't throw that out there. You're just trying to throw that out there now. Anyways, guys, make sure that little red subscribe button, turn it gray, turn on the post notifications. Right now, I think we're sitting at 349 subscribers. We really appreciate.
We got a little work to do.
Well, we do, but we've gained several subscribers since last week, and we really appreciate all the new subscribers and the OGs. So
the OGs.
Also, if you like the video content that we're putting out there, go down, hit thumbs up, and actually like the video, and share the video with your friends and family.
And if you're on the video, go subscribe on the podcast apps. If you're on the podcast apps, go subscribe on YouTube and kind of get some cross-pollination going on.
You really thought hard about that. I mean, I could see the smoke churning out from your headphones.
Also, make sure that you're boosting our presence on social media. Make sure that you're going, following, liking.
Boosting our presence.
Yeah, the more followers that we get, the more our presence is boosted, the more that we're visible to the social media
Spit
community.
it out.
All right, so make sure that you're, liking, following, all of that good stuff. The one that we're absolutely most active on is Twitter. That's Titans_time. We're also on Facebook, Titans Time, and Instagram, Titans Time Podcast. Also, well, don't go check out the website yet. It's actually in development mode right now. If you go look at it right now, all it's going to say is that it's currently under maintenance, and it's not going to have anything on there. So you can go look at it. It's a nice little page, but it doesn't have any of our content on there right now. I'm working on it, so give me a little bit of time there. Let's get into the show. Let's not make the intro drag out as long as it did last time. We're still a little bit under our 15-minute intro that we had last time. So.
We're both long-winded and like to really explain ourselves, so that doesn't do us any favors.
So now let's get into it. And honestly, what do we want to start with? Do we want to go ahead?
Let's go ahead and hit on the Julio news because, let's face it, if everyone made it through all of last week's episode and they were getting a little tired of it, we go ahead and knock that out for them right quick, and then we can get on to the rest of the show.
But honestly, though, I mean, anyone coming to any type of Titans content right now, they know they're going to hear something about Julio Jones.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it's just a hot topic right now. So
you got to be careful with the video here. I mean, you're starting to lean out of the screen a little bit.
Well, I'm sorry.
Making me feel like this is a solo deal.
Hey, let's talk about Julio, okay?
Right quick, don't know if you had seen it yet, but a tweet that went out not long before we started recording. Going to end up butchering the name because I'm terrible with names.
Josina Anderson. Like,
I'm bad with names. Okay?
Josina Anderson. Watch, somebody's going to come and comment, and that name's definitely wrong.
Anyway, Josina Anderson said that a source tonight on the Julio Jones situation said everyone is giving the Falcons time to think about it. This from one team preferring to deal a high mid-rounder for the 7-time Pro Bowler with 6 straight 1,300 plus receiving seasons before 2020, and for Atlanta to take on a good share of Jones's salary. So that's probably another reason why we haven't seen him be dealt anywhere yet, is because Atlanta's trying to get rid of that salary.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole reason for this. Get rid of the salary. He's a little bit older. And, now you're asking them, hey, take on a good portion of the salary. I can see why they might be holding off on doing anything there.
Okay, so to me, in my opinion, if I'm the Titans and I can restructure Tannehill's contract and I'm not looking really to make any other moves right now, I'm not necessarily worried about that because there's only $2 million guaranteed after this next season.
Right.
After this season. And after that, none of it's guaranteed. So I'm not so worried about this 1 year of $15 million.
Well, and like you said, Tannehill could be restructured on his contract and easily make room for this contract. But, and this could just be, maybe the Titans telling their players, hey, don't leak any info, anything like that. But after today's voluntary OTAs, they had Ryan Tannehill on for an interview, and they asked him about restructuring to possibly bring other guys in. And he said that was above his pay grade, and I'm not going to quote him exactly, but that was above his pay grade and something that J-Rob would have to decide on. So from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like he has been approached yet about restructuring. Just what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing on that is, from what I've been seeing around on Twitter, from people that honestly just know the ins and outs a little bit more than me, I don't think that they really have to come to him and ask. I mean, if they want to restructure it, all they have to do is say, we're converting your next year's salary into a signing bonus. Here you go. Here's your money. And
yeah, but you also...
And it's done. It's a done deal.
You want to keep your players happy.
And Tannehill's going to say, oh no, I have this big bucket of money. I'm so mad.
Well, what I'm saying is, you don't want to just... Now, there are some probably GMs out there that they're like, no, we're going to do this. We don't have to tell you about it, like you were saying. But others that want to have a good relationship with their players and be honest with them, come to them and be like, hey, you fine with doing this? Just having that communication with them.
See, in my opinion here, if I'm J-Rob and I get to the point where I'm off the phone with the Atlanta Falcons, I'm like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you this, and they're like, all right, you know what? We'll take it. Hangs up the phone, picks up the phone. He says, hey, Ryan, we're getting Julio, so we're going to have you another weapon for this season. Only thing is, we're going to need to pay you all your money now instead of spreading that out, so I'm going to be all right with you. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, come pick up your money. To me, it's like he's not going to know, in my opinion, until it's about to happen.
You could be right. We'll see, I guess, in the coming days, because I'm going to be honest, I'm ready for Julio Watch to be over.
I think this could drag out until the end of June. In my honest opinion, I really do think that this whole... I mean, what do the Falcons really... Why do they got to dump him right now?
I mean, they don't have to. But if I was a team, I'd want to go ahead and get the deal done. That way you can get him to whatever city that team is in. And, maybe get him in the facility, start getting him familiar with the other guys, at least letting them have conversations with each other. Not to say that he would come to the voluntary OTAs, but he might.
Because a lot of people are not. A lot of people are just like, hey.
There are several people that are not. We'll get to that here in a minute, but you never know. He might say, "Hey, going to a new team. The starting quarterback is there. It would be a good chance for him to get even more reps with the starting quarterback and start getting that timing down."
So, anyways, I mean, do we have much more on Julio?
I know that apparently the Ravens and Rams are out.
Yeah, I saw that. They're done.
Yep.
So, to me, what that's telling me is they just wanted to kind of swoop in and see if they could get him real cheap.
Probably.
And they started talking a little bit with the Falcons, and they were like, okay, this is not going to happen. We're out. I mean, I don't know. But to me, Ravens, Rams, they were just like, I mean, we don't really need him per se, but if we could throw him, a third-round pick and maybe get him, let's go for it.
But I mean, Lamar needs a true number one.
Still got the whole deal going on. I mean, the whole. I don't even know what it was because
allergies.
No. I don't think it was. I think there's like a upper respiratory some kind of deal going on, or my allergies just got so bad that it turned into that. I don't know. It's been rough.
Could just be a lot of sinus drainage.
Couple of weeks.
You're good.
I mean, I'm gonna make it. I'm here.
He's good. Everybody.
I'm here. I'm alive. Good. Don't worry about me. I'm all good. But it's been rough, especially when I'm trying to talk into the mic. But anyways, I don't think that the Ravens or Rams were ever true contenders at any point. Just my honest opinion. I think it's been between the Titans, the Patriots, and I guess the Seahawks name has been starting to get thrown around a little bit now.
If you're a betting man, the Ravens were in the top 5 teams, supposedly.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, does that mean they're a true contender?
I mean, it's top 5.
Yeah, but
out of probably 31 other teams.
You think 31 other teams put in an offer for Julio?
Not saying that all 31 teams actually put in an offer, but
well, to me, if you don't even put him in an offer, you're not even in it. You're not in the whole deal.
You don't know. They could be talking behind the scenes about it. I mean, you hear that Julio Jones is on the trading block, even though he's 32. You can add him to your receiving core. You're gonna have talks.
To me,
about
there's one team already that's out. Kansas City Chiefs. They're out. They don't want him.
Oh no. The Chiefs can never have too many weapons. They need more.
I think if the Chiefs see a 32-year-old wide receiver that's not a track star, they're out.
Yeah, but they also see a big-bodied receiver. When you have the speedy guy in Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman, you have Travis Kelce, who's a matchup nightmare.
I'm telling you, it's rough out here. It's absolutely rough out here.
And then you possibly add Julio Jones to the mix to take Sammy Watkins' place. I mean, he's going to be seeing single coverage.
Yeah, but they already have Travis Kelce. They don't need another big guy target.
I mean, here's the Chiefs and the Bucks and anyone else. They'd be like, "Hey, we can make this run to the Super Bowl."
The Bucks. That's another team that's not going to. You
don't know that because they could be like, "You mean we can make our run to the Super Bowl even easier?" Okay.
See, I don't know. I'm out on all that.
Anyway,
I think out of the whole deal, there's 3 teams the whole time that have ever actually had a real shot.
Patriots, Titans,
Seahawks.
And Seahawks. All right, guys. Hopefully, if you are tired of the Julio news, you've made it all the way through all of that. And now we're going to jump to talking about the voluntary OTAs that's going on. You mentioned
extremely voluntary.
You mentioned earlier about a lot of the vets not being there. Some of the names: Roger Saffold, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Taylor Lewan, Jack Rabbit Jenkins, Brett Kern, Nate Davis. That's just to name some of the more top guys.
From what I've heard, Danico Autry.
I believe Autry was not there.
And so, to me, there's 2 names automatically that stand out.
But here's another thing, is Taylor Lewan supposedly was actually there. but he was just inside the facility. So probably getting treatment on his knee, everything else. If I had to guess...
his knee, everything else? What is everything else? What else is he getting treatment on?
Well, I'm just saying like the ACL, the knee, making sure everything's good.
Everything else, you know.
Well, just making sure overall that he's healthy and ready to go, besides just the knee.
I was just checking. I mean,
according to Paul Kuharsky, he also assumed that the same could be said for A.J. Brown and Caleb Farley, you know, because A.J. Brown had the procedures on his knees, so he's probably there getting treatment as well. Farley, we know with his back, everything else.
Everything else. I'm just saying, like,
well,
what, like, do they have like underlying health conditions or something? Like,
we don't know. I mean, are you a team doctor?
Everything else, you know.
I'm just covering all my bases here. Give me a break.
I'm just saying.
Just they're getting treatment.
And everything else.
Yeah, they're probably in the facility working out too. So.
I'm just calling you out on your little tick here.
So, see, now you done got me messed up here, all discombobulated. Big word for you.
Just continue on. You're just making it worse. Just keep on.
So, there's a good chance that they were there just in the facility and not actually out on the practice field, which A.J. Brown not being out there, it lets Ryan Tannehill get into these OTAs with his new targets, the rookies, Josh Reynolds, and start developing that timing with them that I mentioned earlier, and you know, getting their routes down, seeing how they come out of breaks, finding out where they like the ball to be delivered to, and just seeing their catch radius and getting extra reps with them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's all you can add.
Like, what else do you want me to say to that? Like, I will say, agree.
Seen some videos of Josh Reynolds, you know, his footwork, breaking.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked good.
Him and Des Fitzpatrick both looked really good.
I was impressed with Josh Reynolds specifically, though. So, because I've got some pretty high hopes for him.
Because as of right now, he's our number 2.
Well, yeah, and I've got some high hopes for him for this next season. And I was just glad to see how, I mean, he looked really good. He was running crisp routes. His footwork looked good. You know, I mean, he was just killing it.
He was. And something that you and I talked about, not on the podcast, is how, you know, even before all the Julio talk started up, we thought that we would be okay with Josh Reynolds because, you know, people kept talking about us losing Corey Davis, everything else, and how Josh Reynolds can't be that replacement. But, I mean, he could. It's not like you're bringing another top name in, but he has the production that was similar to Corey Davis. And he was also like the number, 3 or 4 guy for the Rams?
Yeah.
So now you're bumping him up to number 2. Teams are going to be shading over to A.J. Brown, which means he's going to have a lot of one-on-one coverage.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't necessarily know. I mean, if the Titans don't get Julio, I don't necessarily know that that's just it said and done, that this wide receiver core is not getting another addition.
I mean, there's still some other veteran receivers out there. I think Golden Tate.
One of my favorites is Golden Tate. I mean, listen, Josh Reynolds is typically, he has had some slot reps, but he's typically an outside guy.
Right.
Then obviously A.J. Brown is going to be an outside guy.
Well,
now he can move in. He's capable of it.
According to Todd Downing in his interview, I believe that because he knows that teams are going to be focusing on A.J., they may try and move him around a little bit to get him a better matchup.
Well, and that's something that's typical for a lot of number 1 guys. I mean, you're going to do what you can to get them in a position where they can get the ball, even if teams are really trying to put a focused effort on covering them. But, he's not always going to be there. And so that's where, in my opinion, Golden Tate comes in. He has a lot of experience in the slot. He's really good at it. I mean, he plays really well in that position, and he just adds a guy that brings a veteran presence that still has some speed to him, honestly. Quick, crisp routes.
You been out timing him?
Yeah, I mean, we talk every day, so shut up. So
I'm just wondering why you didn't tell me about this, contact that you had.
Well, listen, so you can obviously tell just by looking at him from past seasons, he's still got it. He's still got a little bit of speed to him. And I honestly just think he would be a great pickup for the Titans to add, even if they don't get Julio. Or, no, if they don't get Julio. He would be a great pickup for him to add there, to add to that receiving room. And, I mean, if you look at it, A.J. Brown and Josh Reynolds on the outside. Josh Reynolds is kind of teetering in that 2 and 3 right there. And then you add Golden Tate, who could also, you could say the same about him this late in his career. At one point, he probably would have been a number 2. But take 2 of those guys that are kind of in between, and you've got a pretty good little receiving corps. Add the rookie as your number 4 guy.
Which rookie?
Fitzpatrick. I mean, obviously.
I mean, just double checking.
I'm just saying, you're being a smartass over there. Like, the one that we took in the 4th round. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and you keep talking about, just to touch on A.J. Brown more, also in Ryan Tannehill's interview today, he mentioned how, A.J. Brown isn't going to sneak up on defenses anymore.
No.
They know who he is.
He's definitely known now. I mean,
yeah.
He's not going to come in and other defenses are not going to be like, okay, we've got Corey Davis we've got to look out for, and we've got this, rookie, whatever.
Rookie, second-year dude.
Yeah. He's making some plays, but, like, we've also got to watch out for Corey Davis over here because, we know he's pretty capable, but so is he. Like, that's not going to happen. They're coming in and they're like, this is their number 1 guy,
right.
Their top dog, A.J. Brown, one of the best receivers in the NFL. We got to watch this dude.
Right, yeah, they're not going to come out and say, okay, we can put our number 2 or number 3 corner on
He's
this guy.
He's getting the best week in, week out.
And we've seen that he's went up against some of the top corners and just, even going back to the playoff loss to the Ravens, I believe it was Humphreys that was on him, Marlon Humphreys.
I think so, yeah.
And, he was just being a bully to him. I mean, that touchdown catch that he had in the corner of the end zone just went up, grabbed it, and was like, get off me. You ain't nothing. So, he's not going to sneak up on these guys. We still have, Anthony Ferkser, although he's a tight end.
Who probably will sneak up on a lot of defenses.
And that's just because he's not very fast.
No defensive coordinator is looking down at their pregame notes and is like, Anthony Ferkser. That's a guy.
That's their playmaker. That's right there.
Okay, guys. Here's what we got to do. We got to make sure when we step out there on that field, if this man, picture of Anthony Ferkser on the board in the locker room, if this man walks onto the field, someone is on him until he steps off.
We have to stop them from the inside out. You worry about Ferkser first. A.J. Brown last.
This is the man that will beat us if we don't stick with him. Double team at all times.
But the funny thing is, he very well could be the man that will beat them if they don't pay attention.
Yeah, if they don't. Yeah, because I mean, he really will sneak up on some defenses this season. I mean, especially with like Jonnu not on the team anymore, and these other guys, they haven't necessarily made a name for themselves yet.
It could be easy to forget about the tight ends that the Titans have.
Yeah, because, we know these guys, and we're talking about them, and we're like, Anthony Ferkser, and we're like, yeah, he's made some plays in the past. But other teams, like, especially like other teams' fan bases, but even some coaches are probably going to be like, okay, yeah, it's like their third string tight end from last year.
But, going away from, the defensive side of the ball.
We were just talking about Anthony Ferkser. Like, What are you talking about?
We're recording a little bit later at night than I'm used to, so
yeah. And I feel like that's kind of been. I mean, we can just feel the drowsiness, I guess.
Maybe.
I mean,
don't have our energy drinks here to get us going, but I meant to say going to the defensive side of the ball, we have Jayon Brown showed up to the OTAs. Kevin Byard was there. Byard talked about how this year, there's a lot of things that they have to improve on from last year.
Well, to me, in my opinion, Kevin Byard better be there. Because
he's there. He's there being a leader for the defense. Jayon Brown even said in his press conference today that he wants to be a better leader for the defense as well. And Byard talked about how he specifically mentioned the third and short downs, and saying that he thinks this year one major change that is going to be made, and again, not quoting exactly, is they're going to come up and press these guys and put hands on them, make it difficult for them to get off the line. You can't make it easy for them. So being more physical.
You don't say.
Yeah, I mean,
you think that's a good idea?
Crazy to think of, but it just might work.
It just might work. Actually, impose yourself on the offensive player. Let them know that you're there. Be physical. Actually lay hands on them and try to keep them from getting the ball.
Well, we actually have more than
sounds crazy, but it just might work.
We have more than just one cornerback this year that is willing to do that.
And thank God we don't have Jonathan Joseph playing in the secondary.
I thought we had agreed that we would never mention that name again on the podcast or in the YouTube videos, but yet you go.
It kind of seems like somehow he always sneaks his way into a podcast or video in some way.
I mean, look, if you have a secret love for the guy, it's okay, but just keep it to yourself.
I'm sorry. I cannot contain myself. He played so great last season that I can't let go of the fact that I just wish he was still with the team.
I mean, he did have that one pick six early in the year that got called back because Clowney was offsides.
Yeah. Clowney, another guy that, it's just disappointing, man. Like, Vic Beasley, Javion Clowney, Jonathan Joseph. These are all guys that last season at this time, well, not necessarily this time, but at some point during the offseason, we were like, man, we cannot wait to see these guys out there on the field making a difference. And now, it's just like, with what we know now, we're like, man, were we stupid.
Well, I think that just everything that was done to the defense this year, or for this year, to correct what happened last year, has us just so much more excited. Yeah, because we have guys willing to come in here and work and be physical.
But going back and looking back on the way that we thought of those guys last offseason, like, it just goes to show, no matter what we say right now during these offseason podcast videos, we could come out and, I'm just trying to think of a guy, for example, Josh Reynolds, due to be the biggest bum that has ever put on a Titans jersey. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think that's the way it's going to be. Not coming out and taking shots at the guy or anything. Like, I think he's going to be a good number 2 this year.
I'm just going to say that a guy would have to be very, 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 very bad in order to take that title away from another name that will not be mentioned on this podcast.
Jonathan Joseph.
No.
Oh, Isaiah Wilson.
There you go.
See, I didn't even think we were even going to go there.
Like, well, we were talking about big bust.
I didn't think we were even going to go into that territory. Like, that really is too far.
Well, all right. Swinging things back to this year's OTAs, what's going on? I know one thing that just has you so completely concerned is the fact that Derrick Henry is not at these voluntary OTAs.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, you know that he's probably doing the right things. Like, doesn't have to be there.
Well, that's...
Do I wish that he was there? Like, yeah, I do. Because...
See, I'm going to stop you right there because obviously I was being very sarcastic with that worry.
I know, but I'm turning it back around on you. Like, yeah, I actually do kind of wish that he was there.
You let that guy stay out in Texas right now and keep doing the workouts that he's doing. I mean, he done this last year, put up over 2,000 yards.
Okay, so see, that's where I was completely out of the loop in this situation because I wasn't aware that he did this same deal last year.
Well, here's the thing. Last year was so different.
Right.
So...
sometimes I forget.
Yeah, I could understand that, but at the same time, it had such an impact on everything going on that...
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just like...
it feels like so long ago.
Yeah,
maybe that's why.
And also, like, I feel like it was all just like a blur, just going through the whole deal, like...
Pretty much.
Yeah, so, like, I'm just kind of like, I don't know that it's completely... I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of tucked away out of my mind, in a way.
So, but that's what I'm saying. He was in Texas doing his thing with the workouts. It's voluntary OTAs as long as he shows up for everything that's required, which he obviously will.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. Let him stay out there doing his thing. He's going to go for, over 2,500 yards this year, break the record.
See, you're doing the same thing that you did last week, where you're like, yeah, we're going to have a quarterback with like 60 touchdowns and a running back with like 4,000 yards.
Number one offense in the league, baby.
You're like, you're the dude. You're the dude. I was going to say you're like the dude, but you're the dude. The sports guy that's like always so unrealistic about his team. It's like, I don't know, the Cincinnati Bengals fan that's like, yeah, man, we're winning the Super Bowl this year.
I mean, if you don't throw it out there, what happened? You can't take the credit when it happens.
Well, it's almost like me being right on my bold prediction last season. Which, did we ever actually... You know what, we'll save that for another time. But just know, everyone, that is going to be continuing on this next year. We've got to keep the bold prediction tally
for sure
going again. So
we're too competitive to let that die down.
Yeah, we definitely can't quit doing that because I destroyed you last season. And
oh my
I got to do it again. Anyways, let's continue on. What I was saying about Kevin Byard earlier, and we're kind of just jumping around here, but what I was saying about Kevin Byard earlier is he's got to step it up this next season.
Well, with everything going on with the defense last year, it's basically, to me, it seemed like he was out of place. He was having to do so many other things that it took him away from what he actually needed to be doing.
Yeah, I agree.
They kept talking about communication last year. You had our corners playing 11, 12 yards off receivers. He wasn't able to stay back as a free safety and really do what he's able to do, which is keep eyes on the quarterback, track the ball, and go get it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that it's going to be a lot better this next season, hopefully. Because if not, you got to start looking at this guy's contract and thinking some work needs to be done here.
I think he's going to have a bounce back year.
I hope so. I really do hope so.
And that's not just me being that guy. That
I'm just saying you have a tendency to be that guy.
I was just throwing some stuff out there, just saying, hey, he's doing his thing, let him do his thing.
Yeah.
He's going to come ready.
I got you. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I'm going to start calling you out on it every time that you do it so that you'll know when you're doing it, hey, you're being that guy.
I mean, you think I don't know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying. If you hear me saying, hey, you're being that guy, you'll know what I mean. All right, so, I mean, I don't really have anything else, but I don't know what all you've got that you plan on talking about, so.
you don't have anything else to add about Todd Downing, the offense?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Todd Downing, he seems to not really be all that distraught about the whole Julio deal. I mean, he basically
he gave a coach's
kind
answer.
of. Yeah, he gave a coach's answer for sure.
There you go. See, look, I'm not going to let you spin this however you want to spin it there. Then like, oh, he doesn't seem to be too worried about what's going on. Like, no, he gave a cookie cutter coach answer.
Yeah, I mean, he was like,
I'm happy with the wide receiver.
yeah, we've got some weapons. You know, I'm excited to see what we can. And this is like, I haven't actually watched the video, but this is like,
we have some weapons on offense. Ryan Tannehill, AJ Brown, Derrick Henry.
my mic got all up in my face there.
Maybe you got all up in your mic.
But yeah, I mean, this is kind of how I imagine him like going through. You know, I mean, we got some weapons. Julio. I don't think that we're going to be able to move on to anything else really until this all settles down and something, whether we have him or not, something's got to happen because we're kind of just in this. What's it called? We're in this kind of
endless loop.
Yeah, kind of, but it's like yeah. Yeah.
Didn't really think that one through completely, did
Yeah,
you?
I mean, we're in this little situation where we're just like waiting, and I feel like, you know,
in limbo.
Yeah, we're in limbo.
There you go.
Yeah, and I can't think about anything else until the problem gets resolved.
Well, I mean, like you were saying, it's because
it's the biggest thing going on right now.
If we get Julio, everyone is going to be ecstatic.
Yeah.
And if we don't, everyone's going to be disappointed. So, you know, we're waiting for this one big nugget of news, and you know, nothing's happening with it right now. So every little bit of tiny info that we see, it's like, okay,
yeah, here we go.
It's happening next couple days, but
in all reality, it's going to be the end of June.
We'll see. I think within the next week.
You're being that guy.
I'm being that guy then.
So, yeah, pretty much. Downing gave a coach's answer, and so I don't really have anything else on it.
Well, I mean, that's all I have. That's all you have.
Let's let them know, once again, the things that we need them to do. If you're still with us at this point, make sure that you're following us on social media, helping us out in that regard. On Twitter, it's Titans_time. On Facebook, Titans Time. Instagram, Titans Time Podcast. Don't forget, I'm going to continue to remind, keep an eye out and just kind of keep it in the back of your mind that there will be an announcement at some point with the website coming out. Just be patient with it. Half these people probably haven't even been to our website.
He's putting in some work on the website, and it's fixing to be a lot better. If you have ever visited our website, I mean, it's just going to be a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot different too, emphasizing some different things. So just taking it in a different direction. So take it away,
guys. Like we've already said, you know, go and subscribe to us, whether it's on, you know, the podcast platforms, YouTube. Just make sure you're subscribed, leaving us some ratings, some comments, questions. We really love all the interaction, and we do check in on. Well, we do check on all that stuff and see all the comments. You know, we may not always reply back, but we definitely check them out, and we appreciate it.
And when we don't reply back, it's because we just didn't like what you said.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, don't tell them that. You know, you may have just made a good point that we agree with, and we, you know, like the message.
Why so serious? This has been Titans Time, and as always, tighten up.